Amara and Aisha Carter, twin sisters who transfer to the elite Crestwood Academy, a predominantly white school where they face relentless bullying due to their race. Trained in martial arts by their father, Marcus, the twins endure verbal and physical harassment from Ethan Caldwell and his crew, including threatening notes and public confrontations. As we continue this story, if you are strongly against injustice and prejudice, click on the subscribe button and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. If you're already subscribed, thank you. We truly appreciate your support. Now, let's get into the story. The sun hung low over Crestwood Academy, painting the brick buildings with a warm, golden glow. Amara and Aisha Carter stood at the edge of the school's courtyard, their new uniforms crisp but heavy on their shoulders. The twins, 16 years old, had transferred here just a week ago. Their father, Marcus Carter, had called Crestwood a golden opportunity, a chance to shine in a place known for its prestige. But as Amara clutched her backpack strap and Isha scanned the sea of unfamiliar faces, they felt like outsiders in a world that didn't want them. "Ready for another day, sis?" Isha asked, her voice light but her eyes sharp, taking in the students whispering nearby. Amara forced a smile. "Ready as I'll ever be. Let's just keep our heads down." The twins were identical, with deep brown skin, braided hair pulled into neat buns, and eyes that sparkled with determination. They'd grown up in a modest neighborhood, trained by their father in martial arts since they could walk. Marcus, a former soldier, had taught them to stand tall, to control their strength, and to never let anyone dim their light. But here, at Crestwood, their confidence felt like a target. As they crossed the courtyard, a group of boys near the fountain turned to stare. Ethan Caldwell, tall with slicked-back blonde hair, leaned against a bench, his smirk sharp as a blade. His friends, Lucas and Tyler, snickered beside him. Ethan's eyes locked on the twins, and Amara's stomach twisted. She'd heard the whispers all week, slurs hissed in hallways, mocking laughs when they answered in class. Crestwood was supposed to be elite, but to Amara and Aisha, it felt like a battlefield. "Hey, new girls!" Ethan called, his voice loud enough to draw eyes. "Lost your way? This ain't your kind of place." Aisha stopped, her jaw tight. Amara grabbed her arm. "Ignore him," she whispered. "He's just noise." But Ethan wasn't done. He sauntered over, his friends trailing like shadows. "What's the matter? Too good to talk to us? Or maybe you're just scared." The courtyard grew quiet. Students paused, watching, waiting. Aisha turned, her eyes blazing. "We're not scared of you, Ethan. We just don't waste time on bullies." The word hung in the air. Ethan's smirk faltered, then twisted into something uglier. "Bullies? Nah, we're just keeping things real. You don't belong here." Amara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We earned our place here, same as you. Maybe better." A murmur rippled through the crowd. A girl with curly red hair, Mia, watched from the edge, her expression unreadable. She was in Amara's history class, always quiet but kind. Amara hoped she'd say something, anything, but Mia looked away. Ethan laughed, cold and sharp. "Earned it? You think a scholarship makes you one of us? This is Crestwood, not some charity case school." Aisha's fists clenched. "Say that again," she said, her voice low, dangerous. Tyler, shorter but stocky, stepped up. "What, you gonna fight us? Go back to where you came from." The words hit like a slap. Amara felt her pulse race, her father's lessons echoing in her mind. Control your strength. Choose your battles. But the anger in Aisha's eyes mirrored her own. They weren't just fighting Ethan. They were fighting the stares, the whispers, the weight of being the only black girls in a sea of privilege. Before Aisha could respond, a teacher's voice cut through. "What's going on here?" Miss Harper, young but stern, pushed through the crowd. Her glasses glinted as she scanned the group. "Ethan, back off. Amara, Aisha, get to class." Ethan shrugged, all innocence. "Just talking, Miss Harper." "Talk somewhere else," she snapped. The crowd dispersed, but Ethan's smirk lingered as he walked away, whispering to Lucas. Amara caught the word freaks and felt her chest tighten. As they headed to class, Aisha muttered, "We can't let them keep doing this." "I know," Amara said, "but we have to be smart. Dad said to stay strong, not to start fights." Aisha nodded, but her eyes burned. "I'm not starting anything, but I'm ready to finish it." Inside the classroom, the twins took their seats near the back. Mia slipped in late, her red curls bouncing as she sat across from Amara. She leaned over, her voice a whisper. "You okay? Ethan's a jerk, but he's got the whole school eating out of his hand." Amara hesitated. We're fine. Thanks for asking. Mia nodded, her eyes soft. Just watch your back, okay? The bell rang, and the teacher began droning about the Civil War. But Amara barely heard. Her mind replayed Ethan's words, the crowd's silence, the way Mia had looked away before speaking up. She glanced at Aisha, who was doodling fiercely in her notebook, her pen carving deep lines. They were in this together, just like always. But Crestwood was testing them in ways they'd never faced before. That afternoon, as they walked to the bus, a crumpled note landed at their feet. Amara picked it up, her hands shaking as she read, "You don't belong. Leave or else." No signature, but Ethan's smirk flashed in her mind. Aisha snatched the note, her voice fierce. "They think they can scare us? They don't know who we are." Amara nodded, but fear gnawed at her. Marcus had taught them to fight, to stand tall, but this wasn't just about fists. It was about surviving a place that saw them as less. As the bus pulled up, she squeezed Aisha's hand. "We'll get through this. Together." Aisha squeezed back, always. But as they boarded, Amara glanced back at Crestwood's towering gates. The golden glow was gone, replaced by shadows. She knew this was only the beginning. Ethan and his gang weren't backing down, and neither were they. The fight was coming, whether they wanted it or not. The next morning, Crestwood Academy buzzed with energy, but for Amara and Aisha Carter, it felt like walking into a storm. The crumpled note from yesterday burned in Amara's mind, its words, "You don't belong. Leave or else," echoing with every step. Isha, usually the bolder twin, was quieter today, her eyes scanning the crowded hallways like a hawk. They'd agreed to stay calm, to follow their father's advice. Control your strength. Choose your battles. But the air at Crestwood crackled with trouble, and the twins knew it was only a matter of time. In the cafeteria at lunch, the twins sat at a corner table, their trays untouched. The room was loud, filled with laughter and chatter, but eyes kept darting their way. Amara poked at her salad, her stomach too knotted to eat. "We can't keep dodging them," she said softly. "Ethan's not going to stop." Aisha leaned forward, her voice low. "I know, but we stick together no matter what. They want us to break. We won't." Before Amara could reply, a shadow fell over their table. Ethan Caldwell stood there, flanked by Lucas and Tyler, their grins sharp as knives. A new face joined them. Samantha, a tall girl with sleek black hair and a cruel smile. She was Ethan's girlfriend, known for her cutting words and loyal followers. The cafeteria grew quieter, heads turning to watch. "Well, well," Ethan drawled, picking up Aisha's apple and tossing it in the air. "You two still here? Thought you'd run home by now." Aisha's eyes narrowed. "Put my apple down, Ethan, and walk away." Samantha laughed, her voice dripping with mockery. "Oh, she's feisty. What's wrong, Aisha? Don't like sharing?" Amara's heart raced. She glanced around, hoping for a teacher, but none were in sight. Mia, the red-haired girl from history class, sat a few tables away, her eyes wide but her mouth shut. Amara wished she'd speak up, but the crowd's silence felt like a wall closing in. Ethan dropped the apple, letting it roll off the table. "You don't get it, do you? This is our school. You're just temporary." Aisha stood, her chair scraping loudly. "Say that again. I dare you." The room went still. Ethan stepped closer, his voice a hiss. "You're nothing here. Nobody wants you. Go back to your side of town." The words stung, but Aisha didn't flinch. "You're scared, Ethan. Scared we're better than you. And we are." Lucas snorted, but Samantha's laugh was icy. "Better? You're a joke. Look at you acting all tough. You're just enough." Amara stood, her voice shaking but firm. "Leave us alone. We're not going anywhere." For a moment, Ethan looked surprised. Then his smirk returned. "Big talk. Let's see how tough you are when nobody's watching." He turned, signaling his group to follow. As they walked away, Samantha accidentally bumped Aisha's tray, sending her drink splashing across the table. Laughter erupted from nearby tables, and Amara's face burned with anger and shame. Aisha grabbed napkins, her hands trembling but her jaw set. "We're not letting this go," Aisha muttered, wiping up the mess. "They crossed a line." Amara nodded, but fear gnawed at her. "We have to tell someone. Miss Harper, maybe." Aisha shook her head. "Teachers won't do anything. You saw Miss Harper yesterday. She broke it up, but Ethan's still free to do whatever. We handle this ourselves." The bell rang, and the twins headed to their next class, but the incident clung to them like a shadow. In English, they sat near the back, trying to focus as Mr. Grayson droned about Shakespeare. Mia slipped into the seat next to Amara, her voice a whisper. "I saw what happened. I'm sorry. Ethan's awful, but he's untouchable. His dad's on the school board. Amara's heart sank. So he just gets away with it? Mia hesitated. Pretty much. But you guys are strong. I admire that. Just be careful, okay? Aisha leaned over, her whisper sharp. Careful's not enough. We're not here to hide. Mia nodded, her eyes flickering with something. Guilt, maybe, or respect. She didn't say more, and the lesson dragged on. But Amara couldn't shake the feeling that Mia knew more than she was saying. After school, the twins stayed late for a study group in the library. The room was quiet, the air thick with the smell of old books. They were reviewing math when the door creaked open. Tyler stood there alone, his grin unsettling. Hey, twins, forgot your books? He tossed a crumpled paper at their table and left. Amara unfolded it, her hands cold. The note read, Tomorrow, courtyard, you're done. No name, but the threat was clear. Aisha's eyes blazed as she read it. They're planning something, she said. We need to be ready. That night, at home, the twins sat with their father, Marcus, in their small living room. The walls were lined with photos, Marcus in his army uniform, the twins as kids practicing karate, their late mother smiling. Marcus listened as they told him about the cafeteria, the notes, the threats. His face was calm, but his eyes were steel. You're stronger than they know, he said, his voice deep and steady. But strength isn't just fighting. It's knowing when to stand, when to wait. They want you to react. Don't give them that power. Amara hugged her knees. But Dad, they won't stop. It's not just Ethan. It's the whole school. They look at us like we're wrong. Marcus leaned forward, his hands clasped. You're not wrong. You're my daughters, and you belong anywhere you choose to be. They're testing you because you shine. Don't let them dim that. Aisha's voice was fierce. I want to fight, Dad, not just with words. They need to learn. Marcus nodded slowly. If it comes to that, you know what to do. But you fight smart, together, and you come home to me, no matter what. The twins nodded, their bond unspoken but unbreakable. As they lay in their shared room that night, Amara stared at the ceiling, the note's words looping in her mind. Aisha's voice broke the silence. Tomorrow's going to be bad, isn't it? Yeah, Amara whispered. But we're ready. Together? Aisha asked. Always, Amara said. Outside, the wind howled, carrying the weight of the coming day. Crestwood Academy was a battlefield, and the twins were walking into it with eyes wide open. Ethan and his crew thought they could break them, but Amara and Aisha were forged in fire. Tomorrow, they'd show it. The morning air at Crestwood Academy was sharp, carrying the bite of early fall. Amara and Aisha Carter walked through the school gates, their steps steady but their hearts racing. The note from yesterday, tomorrow. Courtyard, you're done. Felt like a stone in Amara's pocket. Aisha's eyes were fierce, her braids swinging as she scanned the crowd. They'd barely slept, their father's words echoing through the night. Fight smart, together. Today was the day, and the twins knew it. In the hallway, whispers followed them like ghosts. Students glanced over, some with curiosity, others with smirks. Amara clutched her backpack, her knuckles tight. They're all waiting for something, she murmured. Isha nodded, her voice low. Let them watch. We're not backing down. At lunch, the cafeteria felt like a trap. The twins sat at their usual corner table, but the air was heavy, charged with anticipation. Ethan Caldwell and his crew, Lucas, Tyler, and Samantha, lounged near the center, their laughter loud and forced. Amara caught Mia's eye across the room. The red-haired girl looked worried, her fingers twisting a napkin. Amara wanted to believe Mia was on their side, but trust was hard to come by at Crestwood. As the bell rang for the afternoon break, Ethan stood, his voice carrying. Hey, everyone! Courtyard, now! Don't miss the show! Students poured outside, a buzzing crowd forming a loose circle in the courtyard. Amara's stomach twisted as she and Aisha stepped into the open space. Ethan waited, his arms crossed, Samantha at his side smirking. Lucas and Tyler cracked their knuckles, their grins ugly. The note hadn't lied. This was it. Well, look who showed up, Ethan said, his voice dripping with scorn. Thought you'd run by now. Aisha stepped forward, her chin high. We're right where we belong. You're the one who's out of place. The crowd murmured, some laughing, others shifting uncomfortably. Samantha tossed her hair. Big words for girls who don't fit in. This is our school. Amara's voice was steady, though her heart pounded. It's our school, too. We earned it. You're just scared we're better. Ethan's eyes darkened. Scared? Of you? You're nothing. He stepped closer, towering over them. Last chance. Leave or we make you. The twins exchanged a glance, their bond a silent promise. They'd trained for years under their father, Marcus, learning to move as one, to channel fear into focus. Aisha's voice was calm, deadly. Try it. The crowd gasped as Ethan lunged, aiming a shove at Aisha. She sidestepped smoothly, her movements fluid, practiced. Amara moved too, blocking Lucas as he tried to grab her. The courtyard exploded into chaos, shouts, cheers, and the scuffle of feet on gravel. Tyler swung at Aisha, but she ducked, her fist snapping out to catch his arm. She twisted, using his momentum to send him stumbling. Amara faced Lucas, her stance low, deflecting his wild punch. Their father's voice rang in their minds. Control your strength. Strike only when you must. But the line between defense and fight was blurring fast. Samantha screamed, "Get them!" and charged at Amara, her nails clawing. Amara caught her wrist, spinning her away with a practiced move. The crowd's cheers turned to stunned silence. These weren't just girls. They were fighters, trained and fearless. Ethan roared, grabbing Aisha's arm. She broke free, her elbow slamming into his chest. He staggered, gasping, his face red with rage. "You'll pay for that!" he spat, rushing her again. Aisha met him head-on, blocking his fists with swift precision. Amara joined her, the twins moving like a single force, their strikes controlled but fierce. Ethan swung wildly, but they were faster, stronger, their years of training shining through. Lucas and Tyler tried to flank them, but the twins were ready, dodging and countering with disciplined grace. The crowd was frozen, eyes wide. Mia pushed through, her voice shaking. "Stop it! Ethan, leave them alone!" Ethan ignored her, his face twisted with fury. But the twins didn't need saving. Aisha swept Ethan's legs, sending him crashing to the ground. Amara blocked Lucas's last desperate punch, twisting his arm until he yelped and backed off. Tyler and Samantha hesitated, then retreated, their bravado gone. The courtyard was silent, the air thick with shock. Ethan scrambled to his feet, his chest heaving. "This isn't over," he snarled, but his voice cracked. Aisha stood tall, her breath steady. "Yeah, it is. Come for us again and it'll be worse." Amara locked eyes with him. "We're not going anywhere." Teachers burst through the crowd. Miss Harper and Mr. Grayson, their faces stern. "Everyone disperse," Miss Harper shouted. "Ethan, Amara, Aisha, principal's office, now." As the crowd scattered, whispers filled the air. Some students looked at the twins with awe, others with fear. Mia lingered, her eyes meeting Amara's. "That was incredible," she said softly. "I should have helped. I'm sorry." Amara nodded, her heart still racing. "It's okay. We handled it." In the principal's office, the air was tense. Principal Warner, a gray-haired man with a tired face, sat behind his desk. Ethan slouched in a chair, his cheek bruised, while his friends stood sullenly nearby. Amara and Aisha sat straight, their hands clasped, their faces calm but defiant. "Explain yourselves," Warner said, his voice sharp. "Fighting is unacceptable at Crestwood." Ethan spoke first, his tone whining. "They attacked us, sir. We were just talking, and they went crazy." Isha's eyes flashed. "That's a lie. They've been bullying us since we got here. Today they cornered us. We defended ourselves." Amara nodded. "Check the notes they left us. Look at the cafeteria yesterday. Everyone saw." Warner's eyes narrowed. "Notes? What notes?" Amara pulled the crumpled threats from her pocket, sliding them across the desk. Warner read them, his face tightening. "This is serious. Ethan, anything to say?" Ethan shrugged, his smirk faint. "Just a prank, sir. No big deal." Warner sighed, rubbing his temples. "You're all suspended for the day. I'll investigate this further. Go home, now." Outside, Marcus waited in his truck, his face unreadable as the twins climbed in. "You okay?" he asked, his voice soft but firm. Aisha nodded. "We did what we had to, Dad." Amara looked down. "But it's not over. They'll come back." Marcus started the engine, his eyes on the road. "You stood your ground. That's what matters. Whatever comes next, you face it together." As they drove away, Crestwood's gates faded in the rearview. The courtyard fight had changed something. Amara felt it in the air, in the stairs, in her own heart. They weren't just victims anymore. They were fighters, and Crestwood would never forget it. The Carter household was quiet that evening, the kind of quiet that follows a storm. Amara and Aisha sat at the kitchen table, their suspension weighing heavy. The courtyard fight replayed in their minds. Ethan's snarl, the crowd's gasps, the way their fists had moved with precision. They'd won, but victory felt hollow. The notes, the stares, the whispers at Crestwood Academy hadn't stopped. If anything, they'd grown louder. Marcus Carter stood at the stove, stirring a pot of chili, his broad shoulders steady as always. He hadn't lectured them, hadn't raised his voice. Instead, he'd listened as they recounted the fight, the threats, the principal's tired sigh. Now, he turned, his eyes warm but serious. "You did what you had to," he said. "But this isn't just about one fight. It's about what comes next." Amara picked at her nails, her voice small. "What if they don't stop, Dad? Ethan's got everyone on his side." Aisha leaned back, her braid loose from the day's chaos. "They're scared of us now. I saw it in their eyes. We showed them we're not weak." Marcus set bowls of chili on the table, his voice calm. "Strength isn't just about fists, Aisha. It's about truth. You've got their attention now. Use it. Make them see who you are." The twins exchanged a glance. Amara felt a spark of hope, but fear lingered. Crestwood wasn't just a school. It was a system, one that protected kids like Ethan. His father on the school board, his friends' loyalty, the teacher's hesitance, it all stacked against them. But Marcus was right. They'd shaken something loose, and they couldn't stop now. The next morning, the twins returned to Crestwood, their suspension lifted. The air felt different, charged with whispers and sidelong glances. In the hallway, students parted as they passed, some with respect, others with unease. Mia, the red-haired girl from history, caught up to them near their lockers. Her voice was hushed, urgent. "Everyone's talking about you. What you did, it was unreal, but Ethan's mad, really mad." Aisha shrugged, her smile tight. "Let him be mad. He started this." Mia hesitated, her eyes darting around. "It's not just him. Samantha's spreading lies, saying you attacked them for no reason. Some kids believe her." Amara's heart sank. "What about the notes? We gave them to Principal Warner." Mia bit her lip. "I heard Ethan's dad called Warner last night. He's saying it's all a misunderstanding. You need to watch out." The warning hung heavy as the twins headed to class. In English, Mr. Grayson's lecture on Macbeth felt distant, the words blurring into noise. Amara doodled in her notebook, her mind racing. Asha sat beside her, her jaw tight, her pen tapping. They were fighters, but this wasn't a fight they could win with fists alone. At lunch, the cafeteria was a minefield. Ethan and his crew sat at their usual table, their laughter loud but forced. Samantha's voice carried, sharp and venomous. "Those girls are trouble. They think they're tough, but they're just thugs." Amara's hands clenched under the table. Aisha leaned close, her whisper fierce. "She's trying to turn everyone against us. We need to do something." Before they could plan, Miss Harper approached, her glasses glinting. "Amara, Aisha, come with me. Principal Warner wants you." The twins followed, their steps heavy. In Warner's office, the air was thick with tension. He sat behind his desk, his face weary. A woman in a sharp blazer stood nearby, her expression unreadable. Warner gestured to her. "This is Miss Delgado from the district office. She's here to investigate yesterday's incident." Miss Delgado's voice was calm but firm. "I've read the notes you provided. I've also heard Mr. Caldwell's version of events. I want your side, in detail." Amara's throat tightened, but Aisha spoke first, her voice steady. "Ethan and his friends have been bullying us since we started here. They call us names, leave notes, trip us in halls. Yesterday they cornered us in the courtyard. We didn't start the fight, we ended it." Amara nodded, finding her voice. "Everyone saw. They pushed us, insulted us. We defended ourselves. That's it." Ms. Delgado scribbled notes, her eyes sharp. "And the notes? You believe Ethan wrote them?" "We don't know for sure," Amara said. "But they came after he threatened us. No, it's not random." Warner shifted, uncomfortable. "We're looking into it. But fighting isn't the answer, girls." Aisha's eyes flashed. "What's the answer then? We told teachers. Nobody stopped him. What were we supposed to do?" Ms. Delgado raised a hand. "I'm here to find out what's been happening, not just yesterday, but all along. I'll speak to witnesses, review records. If there's a pattern, we'll address it." As they left the office, Amara felt a flicker of relief, but it was fragile. Ethan's lies, Samantha's rumors, the school's silence, it all loomed large. Outside, Mia waited, her face pale. "I heard you're meeting with someone from the district. That's big." Aisha crossed her arms. "It's a start, but we need people to speak up. You saw what happened, Mia, will you?" Mia hesitated, her eyes dropping. "I want to, but Ethan's dad, he's powerful. I'm scared." Amara softened. "We're scared too, but we're still here." Mia nodded, her voice small. "I'll think about it. I promise." That afternoon, the twins stayed late for a math quiz. As they walked to the bus, the campus felt eerily quiet. A rustle in the bushes made Amara freeze. Aisha grabbed her hand, her voice a whisper. Keep walking. A figure stepped out. Tyler, his grin sly. You think you're safe now? This isn't over. Aisha stepped forward, her stance ready. Walk away, Tyler. You don't want this. He laughed but backed off, melting into the shadows. Amara's heart pounded as they boarded the bus. They're not done, she said. Aisha's eyes burned. Neither are we. At home, Marcus listened as they shared the day's events. His face was calm, but his voice carried weight. You're shaking their world, girls. That's why they're fighting back. Keep telling the truth. It's your strongest weapon. Amara hugged her knees, her voice soft. What if the truth isn't enough, Dad? Marcus knelt, his hands on their shoulders. It's always enough. It might take time, but the truth cuts deeper than any fist. You're my daughters. You're unstoppable. As they lay in bed that night, Amara stared at the ceiling, Aisha's breathing steady beside her. The investigation was a step, but Crestwood was a battlefield, and the war wasn't over. They'd faced Ethan's fists, but now they faced his lies, the school's apathy, the weight of being seen as other. Yet, in their hearts, they carried their father's strength, their bond, their fire. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. The halls of Crestwood Academy buzzed with tension, like a storm about to break. Amara and Aisha Carter walked side by side, their heads high despite the whispers that trailed them. The investigation led by Ms. Delgado was in full swing, and the school felt split. Some students sided with Ethan Caldwell, others were starting to question him. The courtyard fight had cracked Crestwood's polished surface, and the twins were at the heart of it. They felt the weight of every stare, but their father's words kept them steady. The truth cuts deeper than any fist. In the cafeteria at lunch, the twins sat alone, their trays barely touched. The air was thick with chatter, but Amara noticed something new. Fewer smirks, more curious glances. Aisha leaned close, her voice low. They're watching us differently now, like they're waiting for something. Amara nodded, her eyes scanning the room. Miss Delgado's talking to people. Maybe it's working. Across the cafeteria, Ethan sat with Lucas, Tyler, and Samantha, their laughter forced. Samantha's voice carried, sharp as ever. They're liars. They're just playing victims to get attention. But her words lacked their usual bite, and fewer students nodded along. Mia, the red-haired girl from history, approached the twins' table, her tray in hand. Can I sit with you? She asked, her voice nervous but firm. Aisha raised an eyebrow. You sure? People are watching. Mia sat, her curls bouncing. I know. That's why I'm here. I told Ms. Delgado what I saw in the courtyard. Ethan started it. You were defending yourselves. Amara's heart lifted, but she stayed cautious. Why now, Mia? You were scared before. Mia's cheeks reddened. I was. Ethan's dad, he's got pull, but I kept thinking about you two, how you stood up. I want to be brave like that. Aisha softened, a rare smile tugging at her lips. Thanks, Mia. That means something. The moment was cut short by a commotion near Ethan's table. A boy named Jamal, quiet but popular, stood up, his voice loud. I'm tired of this, Ethan. You've been picking on them since they got here. I saw the notes. I saw the courtyard. You're not the victim. The cafeteria went silent. Ethan's face twisted, his voice sharp. Shut up, Jamal. You don't know what you're talking about. Jamal didn't back down. I know enough. You and your crew think you run this place. Maybe it's time someone called you out. Students murmured, some nodding. Samantha scoffed, but Lucas and Tyler looked uneasy. Amara exchanged a glance with Aisha. Something was shifting. The twins weren't alone anymore. That afternoon, Ms. Delgado called the twins to a small office. Her blazer was crisp, her eyes sharp but kind. I've spoken to several students, she said. Mia, Jamal, and others confirmed your story. The notes, the bullying. It's a pattern. We're also looking into past incidents. Ethan's not the only one involved. Amara's voice was soft. What happens now? Ms. Delgado leaned forward. We're recommending disciplinary action for Ethan and his group, but it's bigger than them. Crestwood's culture needs to change. You've exposed that. Aisha crossed her arms. Will the school listen? Ethan's dad's on the board. Miss Delgado's jaw tightened. He is, but I report to the district, not him. My job is to get this right. As they left, Amara felt a mix of hope and dread. The truth was gaining ground, but Ethan wouldn't go quietly. In the hallway, they ran into Principal Warner, his face strained. Girls, I owe you an apology, he said. I should have acted sooner. We're holding an assembly tomorrow to address this. I want you there. Aisha's eyes narrowed. To say what? That fighting's bad? We didn't start this. Warner nodded. I know, it's about accountability for everyone. You'll see. That night at home, the twins sat with Marcus, the kitchen warm with the smell of baked chicken. They told him about Mia, Jamal, the investigation. Marcus listened, his eyes proud but cautious. You're changing things, he said. But change makes people fight harder. Stay sharp. Amara hugged her knees. What if Ethan's dad stops it? What if nothing happens? Marcus's voice was steady. Then you keep fighting. Not with fists, but with who you are. You're my daughters. They can't take that away. The next morning, Crestwood's auditorium was packed for the assembly. Amara and Isha sat near the front, their hands clasped. Students whispered, teachers stood stiffly, and Ethan's crew glared from the back. Principal Warner took the stage, his voice heavy. Crestwood prides itself on excellence, but we've failed some of you. Bullying, harassment, and prejudice have no place here. We're addressing it, starting today. Ms. Delgado spoke next, her words clear. An investigation has revealed a pattern of targeted harassment. Those responsible will face consequences, but it's on all of us to build a better school. The crowd shifted, some clapping, others muttering. Ethan stood, his voice loud. This is a joke. You're blaming me for defending myself? They're the problem. Aisha stood, her voice cutting through. You bullied us, Ethan. You wrote notes. You cornered us. Everyone knows it. Stop lying. The room erupted. Cheers, boos, shouts. Jamal stood, then Mia, then others, their voices rising. She's right, Jamal called. We saw it. Ethan's face reddened, but he sat, his smirk gone. Samantha looked away, her confidence crumbling. Warner raised a hand. Enough. This ends now. We're implementing new policies, training, and support systems. Crestwood will change. As the assembly ended, students crowded around the twins, some apologizing, others offering support. Mia hugged Amara, her eyes teary. I'm sorry I waited so long. Amara smiled. You're here now. That's what counts. But outside, Ethan waited, his eyes dark. You think you've won? He hissed. My dad's not done. You'll regret this. Aisha stepped close, her voice calm. We're not scared of you, or your dad. Try us. He backed off, but his words lingered. That night, the twins lay in bed, the day's events swirling. Aisha's voice was soft. We're not alone anymore, are we? Amara shook her head. No, but it's not over. Outside, the wind whispered, carrying the promise of a final reckoning. Crestwood was changing, but the twins knew the fight wasn't finished. They were ready, together, their fire burning brighter than ever. The sun rose over Crestwood Academy, casting long shadows across its brick walls. For Amara and Aisha Carter, the past weeks had been a whirlwind, fights, threats, and a battle for truth that shook the school to its core. The investigation led by Ms. Delgado had uncovered a web of bullying and prejudice, with Ethan Caldwell and his crew at the center. Now, as the twins walked through the gates, they felt a shift. The air was lighter, the whispers softer. Crestwood was changing, and they were the spark. In the hallway, students greeted them with nods, some with shy smiles. Mia, now a close friend, joined them at their lockers, her red curls bouncing. You hear the news, she said, her voice bright. Ethan's suspended for 2 weeks. Lucas and Tyler, too. Samantha's on probation. Aisha grinned, her braid swinging. About time. What about Ethan's dad? Mia lowered her voice. He tried to fight it, but Miss Delgado's report was airtight. The district's watching him now. Amara's shoulders relaxed, but doubt lingered. Will it stick? Or will they just wait us out? Mia's eyes were firm. It'll stick. People are talking. Students, parents, they want change. You started that. The twins headed to class, their steps lighter. In English, Mr. Grayson paused his lecture to address the room. I owe an apology, he said, his voice heavy. I saw things happening and didn't act. Amara, Aisha, you showed us what courage looks like. We're better for it. Students clapped, some hesitantly, others with enthusiasm. Amara felt her cheeks warm, but Aisha sat taller, her smile proud. The twins weren't just surviving anymore. They were shaping Crestwood's future. At lunch, the cafeteria hummed with new energy. Jamal, the boy who'd called out Ethan, sat with them, along with Mia and a few others. You two are legends, Jamal said, his grin wide. Nobody's messed with you since the assembly. Aisha laughed, but her eyes were sharp. They better not. We're still ready. Amara nudged her. We're also ready for some peace, right? The group laughed, and for the first time, the twins felt like they belonged. The stares were gone, replaced by respect. But peace was tested that afternoon when Ms. Delgado called them to her temporary office. Her blazer was crisp, her expression serious but warm. The investigation's complete, she said. Ethan, Lucas, Tyler, and Samantha faced consequences, suspensions, mandatory counseling, and community service. We've also uncovered other cases. Crestwood's leadership is under review. Amara's voice was soft. What about the school? Will it really change? Ms. Delgado leaned forward. It's already changing. New anti-bullying policies are in place, and we're training staff to spot prejudice. Students like you, Mia, and Jamal made that possible by speaking up. You've set a standard. Aisha crossed her arms. And Ethan's dad? He's not going to let this go. Ms. Delgado's jaw tightened. He's been asked to step down from the board. The district won't tolerate interference. This is bigger than one family. As they left, Amara felt a weight lift. The truth had won, not just for them, but for others who'd been silenced. Outside, they ran into Principal Warner, his face less tired than before. Girls, I'm stepping up, he said. We're starting a student council to address issues like this. I'd like you both to join. Isha raised an eyebrow. You trust us now? Warner nodded. You've earned it. Crestwood needs voices like yours. That evening, the twins sat with their father, Marcus, in their cozy living room. The walls held memories, photos of their mother, their karate trophies, Marcus in his army uniform. They told him about the suspensions, the policies, the council. Marcus listened, his eyes gleaming with pride. You didn't just fight for yourselves, he said. You fought for everyone who comes after you. That's my girls. Amara hugged her knees, her voice soft. It was hard, Dad. I was scared we'd lose. Marcus knelt, his hands on their shoulders. You were scared, but you stood tall. Fear doesn't stop you. It fuels you. You're unstoppable. Asha's smile was fierce. We're not done either. That council, we're going to make sure nobody feels like we did. The next day, Crestwood held a school-wide meeting, not in the auditorium, but in the courtyard, the same place where the twins had faced Ethan. Warner spoke, his voice clear. This courtyard saw a fight, but it also saw courage. Amara and Aisha Carter showed us what it means to stand up. We're building a Crestwood where everyone belongs. Students cheered, and Amara felt tears prick her eyes. Aisha squeezed her hand, her voice a whisper. We did this, sis. Together. As weeks passed, Crestwood transformed. The student council, led by the twins, Mia and Jamal, pushed for peer mentorship and diversity workshops. Teachers listened. Students spoke up, and the whispers of prejudice faded. Ethan returned, quieter, his influence gone. Samantha avoided the twins, her cruelty replaced by silence. The school wasn't perfect, but it was healing. One afternoon, as the twins walked home, Aisha stopped, her eyes on Crestwood's gates. Remember when we first got here? Felt like a war zone. Amara nodded, her smile soft. Still does, sometimes, but it's our place now. Aisha grinned. Yeah, and we're not going anywhere. At home, they found Marcus in the backyard, practicing karate forms. He paused, beckoning them. Show me what you've got, he said, his voice warm. The twins sparred, their movements swift and sure, their laughter echoing. They weren't just fighting, they were celebrating. They'd faced Crestwood's worst and come out stronger, not as victims, but as victors. Their journey had changed a school, inspired their peers, and proved their father's words. You're my daughters. You're unstoppable. As the sun set, painting the sky with gold, Amara and Asha stood together, their bond unbreakable. Crestwood was theirs, not because they'd fought, but because they dared to shine. Their story wasn't just about survival. It was about rewriting the rules, about building a world where no one had to fight to belong. And for every kid who'd ever felt like an outsider, the twins' light fire burned a path forward, bright and bold forever. And that's the end of the story. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support and small effort motivated us to create the next video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. We'll definitely read and reply to your comments. See you soon in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and your family. Bye-bye.